What were the biggest challenges of putting a stage play into film?
Well, fortunately, the challenges were few because Brett did such a phenomenal job of adapting the play into a screenplay. He opened it up so beautifully and added so many characters. You know, the play itself, based on my recollection of it, is very stark, very simple, very austere, small cast. You don't see a lot of the characters that you see in the film. And yeah, Brett just really broke it open and gave it such a beautiful sense of place and community that just made it pretty easy for me, honestly. Yeah.
And you saw the play first and then decided to do it?
I did, yeah. I saw it back in 2002 when we did it at our theater company, Red Orchid Theater in Old Town, yeah.
There's more than just you involved. We don't want these wounds to get infected.
Thank you for your guidance. It means a lot to me.
Look up a pastor's job description. The word guidance is the first thing you'll see.
Brett, 2002, the epidemic of school shootings, if anything, has gotten worse. Was there one episode, one incident, one shooting that put you over the edge and said, I have to write this?
Well, it was actually something I wrote about in a play right before I wrote Eric LaRue. It was a play called Drawing More that was produced at Chicago Dramatists maybe 2 years before, or maybe the year before, 2001. And it was a friend of mine when I was in middle school, my friend Matt, he found a gun in a drawer in his parents' room, and he and his brother were playing with it, and went off and killed him. And I wrote a play about the aftermath of that incident because in my town there was confusion. Why would people be confused about this? Like, just believe what the police say. But people were thinking, like, oh, did he shoot himself? Did his brother shoot him? Or was this an accident? Like, a lot of talk around that. And I grew up in a small town, and so it was like a lot of buzz around that. And so I wrote that play, and I really liked it. But it kind of missed the mark, I thought, and exactly what I wanted to write about. And so I wrote this play.
Well, there's a couple of very long scenes where the people who are involved in this, the one where the mothers are with Judy Greer and they're trying to figure out how they can heal.
Yeah, I love long scenes. I love seeing people struggle with their relationships with one another. I think a lot of times in movies and TV I see things are kind of too concise. People skip the messy parts and try and make everything seem like it makes sense or it's easy, or you get to the catharsis without any effort, which has not been my experience as a human being on Earth. So I'm quite happy to take my time, and I'm not really concerned I think people that are willing to let go of expectations and just get in the pool with the movie will be rewarded for doing so. I mean, I have to believe that because I made it.
Yeah.
Well, by doing that, I mean, you are really relating to the kind of pain that they have. And
yeah, because that pain is not something that goes away quickly. One of the things I think that's so important about the movie, because this is not the first movie that's been made about school shootings, but what it is the first, because most movies about school shootings are either about the event itself, or it's about the immediate aftermath of the event. And this movie is about the third act, which is even after the immediate aftermath, even after the trial, even after, it's still there. It doesn't just evaporate or go away, and that's why I thought this was such an important story to tell.
I don't want to talk about what happened to my son.
I feel the same way.
Your son isn't gone, Janice. Your son is alive.
You're going to come through the other side of this, and everything is going to be better. Do you believe me?
Eric killed those boys. He shot them.
You portray the pastors, both of them, as pretty inept.
when you say they're inept, I haven't seen anybody do a better job than they have. Have you?
No. I think it's a work in progress all the time.
Yeah. But
and they have never dealt with that before.
Yeah. But I think the tragedy of Steve is that he's actually really close to being extraordinarily helpful, and he just makes a few mistakes. But you know, the thing that Bill Verne says about, you know, letting Jesus into your heart, and your heart's filled with all this old crap, and you got to get it out of there. You know, I was reading Zen Flesh, Zen Bones. The first story in there is the fellow goes to visit the master for guidance, and the master's pouring him tea, and he keeps pouring the tea, and the tea's overflowing the cup, and the student's like, "Master, the tea's overflowing." He's like, "This tea is you. You're already full. How do you expect me to pour anything in?" You know, which is the same thing that Bill Verne says to Ron at the church. So, and that's an extraordinarily wise thing to say.
Yeah, it's important to know that both of these churches have congregations.
Hi, you need some help with the groceries?
No. What's tonight?
Prayer group at Redeemer. You want to join?
No, thank you.
What about Lisa? Let's talk about Lisa a little bit, because she tries to help in her own way.
Yeah, well, you know, it's like I say, every character in this film has their own trials and tribulations and foibles, and it's not just Ron and Janice, you know, and Lisa, I think, is struggling. I think she's obviously attracted to Ron, and she knows that that's a no-no, but she's struggling with it, you know, anyway, which is a very human thing, you know. That's what I love about all the characters in this film, is that they're all, I feel, extraordinarily human.
Sure, why not? I mean, to have that attraction, if somebody's you're attracted to, it's hard to tell the difference between that sort of belief and sexual desire, perhaps.
Well, she was just trying to make him feel better.
That too, yeah.
Let's talk about Ron for a little bit.
You should leave yourself open to healing and praying.
Oh, stop talking to me like that. I'm not a child.
I think Ron emotionally isn't much more mature than Eric is, you know, which is unfortunately not uncommon among men in this country, is to be stunted emotionally in their development. So that's one facet of it. And I think Ron is just desperate to make it go away, you know. And Janice isn't. She's not desperate to make it go away. She's desperate to understand it. She wants to go further into it. You know, they're both standing at the precipice of the forest, and Janice is like, "I want to go into the forest," and Ron's like, "I want to go the other way," you know. And that's also not uncommon. You know, you find that all the time with people that are, you know, married and ostensibly sharing their lives together, is that they actually are quite different people, and they go about things in extraordinarily different ways, and that can be a beautiful thing, or it can be a tragic thing, depending on how you deal with it, you know.